Peace, everybody. This is Minister Jew, aka Jameel The Imagination Guru, here to give you some more jewels on the upcoming workshop entitled DAPA that will be taking place here in Chicago, Illinois on April the 9th, 2016, over at the Holiday Inn O'Hare Airport. In this brief video, I want to give you guys an introduction to how we use our minds and the power of our subjective consciousness to create phenomenon, whether good, bad, or indifferent. A lot of times we have these self-conversations with ourselves, this inner dialogue that creates emotions and feelings, and we start to see images of people and things and circumstances that we may not like. And we think just because we don't alarm the person or talk to the person or um, live out the experience in the immediate moment, that those thoughts and those feelings mean nothing and that they're worthless, and we just have them and it goes away and that's just it. That couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is what we think subjectively, what we feel subjectively, what we visualize subjectively ultimately becomes objectified to us in the external world. And so in this workshop, we're going to show people how to train themselves to think and feel differently about circumstances, rewiring and restructuring some of the events that have happened to them in their life so that they don't consistently create negative situations, negative events over and over and over again. So watch this video so you can get a glimpse into just how powerful the quantum truly is.
His name is Morgan Andrew Robertson. No, he wasn't a passenger on the Titanic. He was an American author who in 1898, 14 years before the Titanic's maiden voyage, published a short story originally titled Futility and later renamed Wreck of the Titan. That in itself is not remarkable. What is remarkable is how eerily similar the events in his story are to those of the real-life Titanic. His story features an enormous British luxury liner called the Titan, which is described as the largest craft afloat and the greatest of the works of men, and, like the Titanic, was considered unsinkable. The Titan is described as 800 feet in length. The Titanic was 882. The Titan carried 24 lifeboats, as few as the law allowed, less than half needed for her passenger capacity. The Titanic carried only 20 lifeboats, less than half the number required for her passenger capacity of 3,000. On an April night, the Titan, moving too fast at 25 knots, hits an iceberg in the North Atlantic, roughly 400 miles from Newfoundland. On April 14, 1912, 20 minutes before midnight, the Titanic, moving too fast at 23 knots, strikes an iceberg in the North Atlantic, 400 miles from Newfoundland. The Titan sinks bow first and 2,500 souls are lost. The Titanic sinks bow first and 2,208 people die in the frigid waters. In both cases, the agonizing screams of the dying are heard by survivors. Morgan Andrew Robertson died on March 24, 1915, 11 months and 10 days after the Titanic went down.
What you just witnessed was the extreme power of quantum consciousness. You had an author who was genuinely doing something that he loved to do, which is write what we consider fiction. But as we see here, there's no such thing in the world as fiction. Everything can become actualized and brought into what we call reality. This author, even in his book, named his boat the Titan. 14 odd years later, a boat called the Titan actually crashes in the same fashion that he wrote in his book. Is it a coincidence? Absolutely not. For those that understand the power of quantum physics and how you apply it into your own quantum consciousness. So just a couple weeks back, they posted a story about the great Octavia Butler, who was a science fiction novel guru, and how in her journal, she wrote down all of the things in which she wanted to experience in her life as far as the accolades, the awards, the places that she would travel to, etc. in her personal journals. And everything in her personal journal ended up manifesting in her life in the exact fashion in which she wrote it. And so what we are doing at the DAPA Workshop is showing people how to utilize these tool sets in order to create a prosperous, abundant, happy life, and how not to focus on negative imagery, negative things, negative ideas, negative emotions, which project themselves from out of your consciousness into the screen of space called your life. And then you wonder why you have these constant patterns reoccurring and reoccurring, because you're not changing the way that you think, feel, and the conversations that you're having with yourself internally. So at the DAPA Workshop, we're going to roll out the red carpet. We've got over 90 testimonials in the last 8 months, with over $750,000 in testimonials collectively from the people that participate. We've been showing people how to use the quantum consciousness that they have inside of themselves to better their lives, because this law can be used on either side of the ledger, on either side of the coin. It is a matter of consciously becoming aware of how the law works and utilizing it to benefit yourself. So if you can make it to Chicago on April the 9th this year, 2016, Chicago, Illinois is going to be nothing short of phenomenal. So go to the website, www.theimaginationguru.com, click on the Shops tab, scroll down to Workshops, and you'll see the DAPA Workshop there. Please make yourself available. This will be a life-changing experience. Peace, and see you soon.